Over the past 2 years, the Council of Governors Committee on Education has achieved great progress in managing the early childhood education sector. However, it has also faced some challenges. As you may be aware, Article 43 and Article 53 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that every person has a right to education and every child has the right to free and compulsory basic education. The education function is a function of both the national and county governments. The national government is in charge of the universities, tertiary education institutions, and other institutions of research, higher learning, as well as primary schools. It is also in charge of special education, secondary school education, and special education institutions. On the other hand, county governments are in charge of pre-primary education, village polytechnics, homecraft centers, and child care facilities. The management of this concurrent function has resulted in a few challenges. Today, the Council has had successful deliberations with stakeholders in the sector, key of which is KNUT. Following these deliberations, all stakeholders have acknowledged the following challenges that need to be resolved urgently. The sector does not have early childhood development policy in place. This has resulted in the development of county legislation in a vacuum. The danger of developing law without policy is that there will be disharmony in the entire legal framework. The Council therefore urges the national government to fast-track the finalization of a conceptually satisfying policy framework to guide development of law in the sector. The need to align the national legislation to devolved system of government. The Council notes that there is a basic education bill in place. While the bill is still under development, the Council takes this early opportunity to urge the national government to ensure that the bill respects the architecture of devolved system of government as provided for in the Constitution. In this respect, we wish to point out that certain clauses in the current bill, including clause number 18, which establishes a county education board, are not in line with the Constitution and ought to be amended. Infrastructure. While county governments respect the distinct roles of the two levels of government, there have been various instances where the distinct implementation of these mandates has been a challenge. For instance, some county governments have developed state-of-the-art ECD centers, while the national government institutions that house primary schools in those areas are quite dilapidated. Counties have therefore been forced to assist in the development of primary school infrastructure without a clear framework. Number D, management of free primary education. The Council notes that the ECD pupils have been subjected to discrimination in the provision of these services. There are also challenges in the transition of students from ECD centers to primary school. We therefore urge all stakeholders to ensure that these matters are deliberated on and included in the policy document. Recruitment and or management of ECD teachers. County governments have recruited in excess of 4,000 ECD teachers since they came into being. However, they still need to recruit more quality teachers and to produce quality learning tools in the ECD facilities. Additionally, We need, additionally, the need for accreditation of teachers like other professionals for certification and constant monitoring has not been fully addressed. Finally, we reiterate the importance of collaboration and consultation among all stakeholders in the development of policies and laws in an effort to ensure that law and policies are developed or amended to conform with the devolved system of government. Finally, in this respect, we urge the National Assembly and Senate to harmonize the legislations that are affecting the ECD sector to avoid any potential conflicts in the ECD policy, Basic Education Act, Basic Education Amendment Bill 2015. Additionally, ECD centers must be made an integral part of the national primary school system to ensure that there is seamless transition from basic education to primary schools.
This is a historic moment in the education sector in this country. The constitution, which was promulgated in the year 2010, as you can witness, is still under implementation. And I want to believe that this meeting is part of actualization of the dreams and aspirations of the people of Kenya as contained in that constitution. Our meeting today was merely serious and thorough consultation to address education at the ECD level and education in totality. And in as much as we have the separation of roles in the Constitution, there is no boundary when it comes to duties to the education in this country. I believe we'll be able to make a fundamental difference now that we are talking. Early childhood education has been goal number one in the EFA framework of action. The sixth goal, the first goal is early childhood. And the Global Monitoring Report indicts many countries that even as the EFA goals come to an end, many countries have not implemented this. Kenya tried with the policy framework 2006, which has not been actualized. Mainstreaming ECD has not been sufficiently actualized. And when the county governments were established, they have struggled with the entire process. But we think this is a bigger matter that requires thorough stakeholder consultation so that we can move it forward. The foundation of education is in ECD, and is not in ECD at age 3, 4, and 5. The global definition of even the beginning of education is from conception. And you are aware we had a meeting with the Committee of Education. We don't want to frustrate Kenyans. We don't want to frustrate the children of this country. And we'll keep communicating and making these messages very clear all the time. And we've implored upon Parliament to avail money. Let them do it. They can have a session on Saturday or Sunday, if that is possible. And it should be possible. And then there are enough resources in this country. We've seen arguments about taxation, that Kenyans will be taxed more. But then we should address even the loopholes in taxation.